I'm here with Mel Reyes, and he's incredibly accomplished CISO.
Spent a career parachuting in to the boiling hot lava. That's Synchrony was a beautiful journey. So we went from 3 billion to 12 billion. In that 18 months, I was able to pull the teams together, learn enough of whatever we needed to do to, number one, clarify 13 years of data mismatch, API, security, porting data, rewards redemption issues. 18 months, we solved that. They were 3 years late on delivering new credit card products. We launched 5 in those 18 months.
Mhm.
And we went from 3 billion receivables to 4 billion receivables.
I'm here with Mel Reyes, and he's incredibly accomplished CISO. So, Mel, you're looking for some new challenges in the security leadership turnaround space. If you could describe what a next ideal engagement for you would be, what would that look like?
Uh, Thank you for this. I'm going to tell you, I've spent a career parachuting in to the boiling hot lava, to the inferno is burning, the Titanic is sinking, and maybe outside of the Titanic piece, usually end up with an extremely positive result. Now, what does that mean? Uh, I don't make any assumptions, right? I don't come in with solutions. I don't come in with vendors. I don't assume that everyone is dysfunctional, right? I do my assessments, I build the relationships, and then I know how to drive. I know how to level people up. I know how to level people out. It's about building trust. It's about culture. And how do you do that when you need the resources? You need this, but you also need to deliver product. So I've been on the product side. I've been a Scrum Master, a product owner. I've done all of those pieces. I've been the developer and the database guy and the infrastructure guy. I know the pain. So when a developer comes to me and says, you know what, that's going to take, that's 5 points, that's this, that's that, it's going to be about, 6 sprints. I'm like, no, you're going to get it done in 2, maybe 1. And I'm going to walk you through because all your estimates are wrong. Because I'm like, I don't know what you did on your estimates. So I can call bullshit when it's bullshit at that level. And I also can call bullshit when it's bullshit at the top level when somebody says we need $1.2 million to build out a document repository that needs to be accessed with full scaling. Well, guess what? I assessed the environment. I pulled in the tools. I said, well, that's free. That's free. You already have that. You already have that. Why don't we just pull this together? But literally, that's what I do. And because of the way I've always been creating workbacks, creating documentation, making sure that the team creates their documentation, make sure everything's linked, make their stored. The handoff, which this person that was taking over scheduled for 8 weeks to meet an hour a week, it was actually an hour and a half, but I rounded it up to 2 hours. It was everything was set. I had to do that because I had to get them through SOX, I had to get them to go in
Mhm.
public, and I had to get them through ISO 27001. Full evidence, and we passed the pre-audit. Synchrony was a beautiful journey. And I had 2 different roles. My first role was focused on kind of rebuilding a relationship. The second role was solely bringing out the enterprise fraud authentication management process, which had me deep, deep, deep into security. So the first role, I was brought in. I've been in financial services before a couple times. This is different. I'm brought in because PayPal was the client. PayPal, eBay, and Venmo were the clients, all bundled under one. And they were going to leave Synchrony. And at that point, Walmart was the biggest customer. And Walmart was leaving
Mhm.
Synchrony. Well, they couldn't have 2 of their biggest accounts leave. So I was brought in, coming in, rest tablet, green slate. I'm understanding, I'm absorbing, I'm talking to the business, I'm talking to the client, meet with them every week at their location in Maryland for 18 months. In that 18 months, I was able to pull the teams together, learn enough of whatever we needed to do to, number one, clarify 13 years of data mismatch, API, security, porting data, rewards redemption issues. 18 months, we solved that. And they were 3 years late on delivering new credit card products. We launched 5 in those 18 months.
Mhm.
And we went from 3 billion receivables to 4 billion receivables. The success of that 18 months led to them selling Synchrony in $8 billion portfolio of credit. So we went from 3 billion to 12 billion. I knew which teams, I knew what people, we had the documentation, we clarified things, we prioritized things, we created workbacks. Oh, that's when you want to launch, that's when the marketing campaign goes. Oh shit, we got a lot of work to do. And I would pull the teams together, and I knew how to get the resources. I knew when to call bullshit when there was bullshit. I'm like, that's not going to take that long. I'm like, no, it's not. Let's walk through that. And I called out a lot of, I do the 5 whys. Why do you still do it that way? Why can't we do it this way? Why can't we do it this way? What about this? Why? And I will tell you, everyone was like, wait, how did you just get that release in 2 months? I'm like, we just did, right? Like, here's the process. Look, I'm like, oh shit, we didn't know we could do that. I'm like, I didn't know we could do that either, but I just kept asking him, like, why does it take, literally, why does it take 9 months to prime a credit card? I'm like, walk me through the options, because that's just, there's no way. I need it in 4. Right. And we did it, pulling people in, enabling people. It's about understanding what they know, appreciating it, and then learning from that, and then saying, oh, now I know who I need to call. I call in SWAT teams, right? So whether it's incident management on the CISO side, whether it's budgets that are blown out of proportion, brought into a manufacturing group, they were 9 months into a 10-month contract, a $3 million 10-month contract. They brought me in to do an assessment on a Wednesday. It was my first day at the job, to do an assessment of this whole e-commerce replatform that was supposed to take over about 15 of the manufacturing group's e-commerce websites, but they were going to launch with this first one. I go in with a nominal team that I inherited, and I immediately, like, top of my head explodes. I look at the underpinning of what they were doing in the e-commerce platform. I look at the connections. Right. And so now I'm looking at the design. I'm looking at the code. I'm looking at everything else. They weren't showing them a lot until I went underneath. I'm like, no, I need access now. Right. So 2 days, took me 2 days to give my boss at that point, the CIO, an assessment. So Friday, I sit with him, not only with an assessment, but with a plan. And I said, it's not happening. I'm like, I don't know what kind of smoke they're blowing up your ass, but it's not happening. Well, I got them to agree to recalibrate 3 months. For the last $300,000 that were left, we got a 125% parity to what they currently have. So we added a couple features, complete clean design, full integration to the back-end manufacturing, with only no new hires with the existing team.
Right.
Not the consulting team, the existing in-house team. That's why I have a couple presentations and a few different training programs on how to not only level yourself up, but how to do this for your teams. And that's where a lot of people find a lot of value. Yeah. So having worked on the product side for a ton of different SaaS products, I understand the product and the marketing side. I understand the deadlines, and I understand that, they need to get XYZ tool no matter what. So from the product standpoint, I'm good. From the financial standpoint, EBITDA, I get all of the wonderful metrics. I've got the CAC, we've got, yes, we can work through all of those pieces. And then from the technical and from the security side, check. My goal is, if I were looking to be brought in, it's at a senior level, right? CIO, CISO, or if it's a tech company, a CEO. It's really one with a challenge, making a massive change to a company. Is it people, product, or process? Right? What is it that needs to change? And I go in there, and that's what I focus on. Every role that I've had, I'm talking to the QA person. I'm talking and sitting with the customer service person. So are we putting the money in the right place? Do we have the right resources? Are we paying some people too much? Do we need to do an organizational assessment of both the security, IT, marketing, and other functions to see, or do we have the right? And then how to attract investors? I mean, at the end of the day, you got to have partners and integrations. When I talk to any of the SaaS companies that I'm a startup advisor for,
no, we're going to leave that in there. In fact, we're going to edit out everything else.
and